When life gets busy, my mind gets busy. And before you know it, I'm second guessing my decision, anticipating worst case scenarios, overthinking every little detail. In this vid, I'll be sharing some of the ways that have me quiet this noise, but please remember, we're all different. So if this doesn't work for you, please don't be discouraged to find out what does. The first step, and probably the most difficult one, is recognizing when you are in need of addressing this overthinking. What does it look like to you? Some people focus more on the past, worrying about yesterday's conversation or why they didn't make certain choices when they were younger to end up at a different place today. Others might focus more on the future, anxious about embarrassing themselves at next week's meeting or what their life will look like years from now. Thoughts like these aren't unusual from time to time. But one day becomes really frequent, and I'm conscious of how energy, time, and effort is being put into this. I start addressing this by doing a brain dump in my journal. Simply, I write down anything and everything that seems to be bothering me. I don't worry about good spelling or grammar, just get everything down onto paper. And for this to be really effective, I don't want to be belittling or judging myself for what I deem to be a problem or for the fact that I'm struggling in the first place. Treat yourself as you would a good friend. And as I say, we're all different and we experience the world differently, and that's okay. Next, I like to read through what I've written and start to categorize my thoughts in productive and not productive. Also know as in my control and outside of my control. And more often than not, would you believe, most of my wants come from things that are outside of my control, and that can be really difficult to accept, but by allowing for that natural emotion response to happen anyway and to not be judgmental of my feelings, I can then try to reassure myself that no matter the outcome, I'll be okay. I then turn my attention to the list of things I can do something about and start coming up with some solution. At least this way, I can start feeling like I'm making progress. And this doesn't have to be done alone. You can ask people for help. You can do this over a long period of time. It doesn't mean you have to do this immediately. After this process is done, I now look to the mindfulness. This is defined as the ability to become fully aware of the present moment, something that seems impossible when you're feeling anxious and stressed, and yet in there it's probably when you can benefit the most from it. There are many ways to practice mindfulness, and what I found works best with these kind of days is to start really small. For example, while it would be really beneficial, a 30-minute meditation sounds too difficult. So instead, I might start with the 5 4 3 2 1 technique. This is when you take a moment to observe your surrounding, identify 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. While doing that first, I might be more inclined to doing a 5-minute meditation because that feels doable. Now and after that, I might be inspired to get outside. If I have the option, going for a walk, even just a 10 minutes around the block, can really ground me. Gently exercising can improve my mood. The fresh air gives me more clarity, and when I get back at the end, I feel that small sense of accomplishment.